Tonight in the shop, what do we have? Squares. In my shop, I do a lot of different types of work. Sometimes it's metal, sometimes it's wood, sometimes it's plastic, sometimes it's glass, acrylic, you name it. It will probably come through my shop eventually. So a square is a very important thing. Now, what is a square? A square is a simple tool for marking and referencing 90 degrees. Yes, I just read that because I can't memorize everything. So a simple square would be something like this. That is a simple square. Now this is a machinist square, and I made this one. And the holes are spaced as we were told to space them, by the way. That's actually how it's supposed to be. But here is our reference for marking and referencing 90 degrees. On this square, we also have 45 degrees. And we can take it even further by going 30 degrees and 60 degrees. 30 one way, 60 the other. See? Reversible. Neat. But you don't need to get or make a machinist square which is accurate to a couple of seconds. You can just get a speed square. A speed square will be T-shaped so that it has a referencing edge, boom, that you can mark along this side or this side for 90 degrees and 45 degrees. They make them larger. And sometimes these are called rafter squares, by the way, and they can get pretty big. I think 14 inches is the biggest one I've ever had, and it should be somewhere over there. You can get a framer square, like this aluminum one right here. I also have several steel models. Put that up. Another variation of speed square, which I cannot remember who made this one. It's a Hansen slide square. It works pretty good, and I use it a lot. It actually comes with, hard to do with handed, so I'm setting it down. Like a little set of caliper type things for spacing marks. You can also get a combination square, which will have degrees readout on the back and a nice heavy rule on one side. These little thin ones that usually come with these thinner ones are not that great, but they're good enough. And this is a no-name from probably Walmart or something, and it does okay. I actually do use it even though it looks very rusty. And here, of course, is our standard Swanson speed or combination square. It has markings for 45 degrees and 90 degrees, and of course measurements on those, and a little bubble level, which is quite nice. And if you look at the back here, you'll notice a little knob, and that is a scratch awl that's screwed into there, which I'm not going to unscrew because I don't want to lose it. So again, in our shop, a square is very important, and there are many types. So choose one that fits the work that you do. Of course, you have the framing square, which I put up there, that aluminum thing right there, the metal, yerp, right there. You have a T-square, which would be suited for drafting, or you can get big ones for drywall or even shaping cardboard. You have your combination squares. A combination square set will have one of these, a nice rule, and a center finder, like this guy. That is a combination square set. This one is brown and sharp. I also have a Starrett. I wish I had a Mitutoyo just because, I don't know, feel like I should have the set. You can have angle gauges. This allows me to set this in and move this blade to match an angle, and then bring it over to my saw to cut that specific angle. You have this one here, which is just a little slide square. It's plastic. It's inexpensive. Throw it in your back pocket. That's what I like most about this, is that it fits into my back pocket. You have your speed squares. You have an array of machinist squares. That's what these guys are. You can even have squares built for your saw, like this, right? This gauge right here. It's a miter slot. And this guy is called a miter gauge. And it helps me get square cuts on my table saw. Though mostly I use that sled down there. That's for another day. So our squares help us in the shop to get 90-degree angles so that we can make things like cabinetry, set dados at perfect distances from edges, trim plywood to specific sizes, make trim, or even make our handmade hinges operate smoothly. Because without a square, I could not have lined up that hole and laid out the markings to make the nice carved profile. So what is that? That's a square.